Let's go to Sky Television. It says a decision to deny its billion-dollar proposal to merge with Vodafone is bizarre and disappointing. The competition watchdog has rejected the proposal, saying the central issue was Sky's ownership of all the main sports contents, which is a major draw card for customers, of course. The Commission says that ownership would have allowed the merged company to take business away from rivals such as Spark and 2 Degrees, which were strongly opposed to the tie-up. Sky TV Chief Executive John Fellet says the decision is very disappointing.
These deals are happening in every other country around the world. There is some reference in the decision that the sports content is such a must-have. Well, geez, I think it's fantastic, but we're only up to about 45% of the market with our sports content, and that the combination of mobile phone and Vodafone and the sports content would be just too powerful. Well, Vodafone now offers Sky, and I think we've done a check, and I think there's only 25% of the population that has Vodafone and Sky. So it just, I don't get it, but you move on.
Can you just clarify what you mean by 45% of sporting content? I mean, you have the rugby, you have the NRL, you have the netball. You have the cricket. So, I mean, are you talking about what? I mean, what's the other 55% made up of?
No. I think we've got the best sport. I'm not arguing that. The issue was sports is a must-have content, and my argument is I wish it was. With all the sport that you just mentioned plus more, we're only up to about 45% of the population. So it's not a make or break. And if anything, sports is starting to wane a little bit, and now the hot new thing is all these new dramas, be it Game of Thrones or Orange is the New Black or Better Call Saul. Those are what.
Forgive me, I'm going to cut in there. Orange is the New Black is a Netflix program, right? And so that's what you're up against, isn't it? That's why revenue is down, profits down in the 6 months ended December 31st. Subscribers are down by about 45,000 over that period. You are hurting because of new competitors in the market, right?
Well, that's right. I mean, I don't think there's a more competitive market. And if you take a look at MediaWorks' financials, my guess they'd be worse than that. Television in New Zealand's going backwards. Netflix doesn't produce a New Zealand P&L, but my guess would be pretty difficult. Lightbox is given away free. They couldn't even make it standalone on a retail price. So it's a tough market.
Yeah, it is a tough market. The issue is, though, what the Commerce Commission is protecting, I guess, is the telco market. And if we look at their statement, we cannot rule out the real chance that demand for its offers would attract a large number of non-Vodafone customers. They go on, in particular, we have concerns that this could impact the competitiveness of key third players in those markets, such as 2 Degrees and Vocus. So, in fact, they are speaking to the telecommunications market rather than the TV market. This deal would make it less competitive, wouldn't it?
Well, if that was accurate, keep in mind that right now the only ones on selling my content is Vodafone. And so only 25% of the market has both Sky and Vodafone. So once again, people buy telecommunications services for all sorts of reasons. Some are just looking at the best deal. Some trust Power offers a great internet deal and Power. And if they were right, the combination of Vodafone and Sky, you think, would be north of 50%, not under 25%.
Okay. You've lost, what, somewhere approaching $300 million of shareholder value today?
Yeah, I'm less worried about that. The market overreacts on both ends, so my guess it'll be back up. At the end of the day, there was a reason why the Vodafone and Spark was fighting about this issue, so I suspect the stock will come back.
Okay, but why will it come back? What can you offer the market? What's your plan B?
Well, we've been sitting in our hands probably for the last year as this drama kind of wound down, and we're going to continue. So Vodafone has a bunch of services that they want to offer that requires our content, and we intend to start doing it on a wholesale basis with them.
But you have some valuable stock, and
that's right.
And I guess is the most valuable property you have the rugby?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, the sport probably only represents 25% of our viewing. on the Sky platform. That's always surprising to everybody, but everything from the Kardashians to...
yeah, but 25% of your viewing, right? But Monday to Friday, there is no sport. Well, Monday to Thursday, there's very little sport. So there's a whole lot of time that people can't watch rugby and perish the thought there's summer, so there is no rugby. In other words, there are a lot of subscribers who are there for the rugby and watch other stuff because they've got Sky, right? And I just wonder, is there something more you can do with it? Spark are talking about a vibrant wholesale market. Have you looked at other means of distribution? Have you looked at working with other people? Have you looked at purchasing MediaWorks? Are there other things you are looking at?
Well, I don't want to go into all our plan Bs, but yes, I mean, I wouldn't go into any deal like this without having a backup, and so there's certain things we can do. But on this wholesale argument, once again, we offer Fan Pass. You don't even need to be a Sky subscriber. You don't even need to be hooked up to any phone company. You can get Fan Pass and not buy it through buy anything else. And no sport on during the week. That's just not true. We get quite a bit. Probably only 50% of the viewing is on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The other 50% is on Tuesday through Monday through Thursday. So there's quite a bit of sport. Even during the summer with the Six Nations, we have quite a bit of rugby on. So it's year-round.
Okay. Boy, everything's moving fast, isn't it? I remember 1989 when TV3 was launched. It was our third television channel, and it was our first private television channel, and it was very excited. That must seem anachronistic, a museum piece of information to our audience now. I remember Sky TV beginning. Suddenly, the obsolescence is coming at you like a train. How do you fight it? Or is it simply that the models are becoming obsolete so fast?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we have these new internet products like Fan Pass and Neon, and they just go after a different audience. People like me want to sit down and at the end of the day, and I wouldn't even know what content was hot. I really rely on Sky curating that for me, and I want to watch it in HD. My son, who's 27, completely different. He knows about, you'd think I'd know more about any shows in the world here in New Zealand. And he always asks me about, hey, Dad, what's the latest? Are you going to get this show or that show? And they just plugged in differently, and they want to watch it on any device. And in a part, that's what this Vodafone deal was about. This Vodafone deal was about how do we pivot to get more content over every potential platform.
Okay, one final question. I know you say that the market overreacts to good news and to bad news, and that's absolutely true. It seesaws up and down. But $300 million almost has been wiped off the value of Sky TV shares today. What would you say to shareholders who are sitting on the motorway in traffic tonight listening to you? What can you tell them about what you are going to do instead of this merger?
I would tell them that the day we lost the English Premier League to Coliseum, you remember them? About $400 million was wiped off the share price. And the EPL now is back on the Sky TV platform. So these things, you adjust to them and move on.
John Fellet, CEO of Sky Television.